News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, clear skies, 46 degrees, wind out of the southwest at around 6 miles per hour. Tonight mostly clear in a low around 24 with a west wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, warming up a little bit more, sunny with a high near 52, wind from 5 to 10 miles an hour in the afternoon out of the southwest. Tomorrow night, increasing clouds and a low around 25 to start 2026, mostly cloudy in a high near 42. The game is next on News Radio KMAN.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Memberships are a fun way to experience the zoo all year long and will make great gifts this holiday season.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Welcome to our final show of 2025. I know tomorrow is New Year's Eve, but tomorrow we got a big day of sports here on KMAN with K-State women's basketball at 1 o'clock, pregame at 12:30 against Cincinnati. We got the Citrus Bowl, we got the college football playoff, Ohio State and Miami here on KMAN tomorrow, then a triple header on New Year's Day of the college football playoff. Texas Tech, Oregon, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Meanwhile, here on The Game today, we're going to be joined a little bit later on in this first hour with new K-State quarterbacks coach Christian Ellsworth. Quite the connection with Collin Klein, with Jeremiah Johnson, and with a number of coaches already on this staff. But right now in control of the quarterbacks at K-State, we'll ask him the question. Conversations with Avery Johnson, has he had them? Are they expecting? Like 100%, Avery Johnson, will he be back for 2026? Believe it or not, I'm going to double check with him. I believe I read this somewhere. Christian Ellsworth, the last 2 years, the youngest position coach in the SEC, is now with K-State coaching the quarterbacks. We'll have Jabroni of the Week here in hour number 1 plus in hour number 2, since it is our last show of 25, the best of 25. Not of our segments, talking just K-State sports. We're going to look over this year, this calendar year, and take a look back, plus a shout to some high school state champions as well from our area. Jeff Mittie joining us in hour number 2. We'll squeeze in some college football playoff, Mitch in Vegas, but we have more games than just that in Mitch in Vegas this week. So vote on Twitter at MitchTheFort and get your votes in as we are running out of time. And I think Cole is pretty much cooked because this guy can't get any wins, any weeks better than 3 wins. And I even threw in more games. I think we had, 7,
I'm cursed,
8?
Man. This is why, every time that I go 3-3 or worse, I say to my wife, this is why I don't gamble on sports, because I'm not very good at it, it turns out.
By the way, we also going to talk about here in just a minute K-State's new running backs coach. And you know me. I'm a big running backs guy. It's my second favorite position. First favorite position is nose guard. I'm a big running backs guy. 2 of my 3 or 4 favorite Wildcats of all time, running backs. And that includes, of course, hashtag my boy, Deuce Vaughn. That in just a moment. But first, as we advertised yesterday on the show, as we advertised today on social media, we are giving away a 4-pack of K-State men's basketball tickets, the full size, the regular size men's basketball tickets to the BYU game on Saturday, and also going to throw in a parking pass as well. So I promised Cole a while back that I'd let him pick a player and we'd play this game once again, where we need you to text in to throw your name in the hat if you want to try to win the tickets. Once upon a time, we gave away tickets by, I just came up with a random K-State basketball player. You text in their name to 785-537-1350. If you get it right, the player that I picked out, You automatically win the tickets. If you don't, if nobody does, well, we just draw for the winner of who all texted in hour number 2. So we're going to do that again. But Cole is picking the player, and I told him somebody within the last 20 years. So there it is. There's your guidelines. A K-State basketball player within the last 20 years. So text in those names to 785-537-1350, and Cole isn't even going to tell me.
I think it's a pretty tough one. I guess we'll find out, but...
Well, what are you giving hints for?
It's not like going to be an obvious. It's not like...
Okay, so it's not Jacob Polin.
It's not Dean Wade. Because those are a lot of the guesses we get, are like the ones you would think of.
Okay. I'm gonna write down 3 names just as a prediction. 3 names, because here's how I want to do this as well. Like, if you want to spam this thing just to try to get this right, do it. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. There's no rules here.
That won't give you extra opportunities in the drawing because it's just 1 per phone number. But if you want to try to take a big stab at it and have multiple tries to guess that random player that Cole has thought of, text us 785-537-1350 if you want 4 tickets to the BYU game on Saturday. AJ DeBonsa will be in Bramlage Coliseum. And as we see the text now starting to roll in, that game tips off at 12:30 Saturday afternoon, and pregame coverage, Power Cat Game Day, 10:30 in the morning here on K-Man and also on 101.5 K-Rock. Well, Cole, did you see the news?
I did.
Today.
We have a new armor of the guard at the running back position for K-State.
Replacing BA is CP. We have enough CKs.
We do.
We have a CP.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Patterson is the new K-State running backs coach. Previously worked at Oklahoma State, which I believe somehow did not finish dead last in with the running backs. But Corey Patterson hasn't had the longest coaching career at the college level. He actually started in 2018 at Illinois as the tight ends coach, and then Brett Bielema is hired. He is retained and stays on as the running backs coach. That was his first run at coaching running backs. At Purdue, this is after Jeff Brom leaves and goes to Louisville, goes to Purdue. He's an associate head coach and wide receivers coach, where he did coach Jerron Tibbs. And then 2025 at Oklahoma State. Now, prior to that, was a head coach, because he's from St. Louis. He was a head coach at a couple of schools in St. Louis. And we'll get to more details on this in just a moment, certainly what Collin Klein is thinking, certainly with this hiring. Christian Brothers High School. Actually, I think the name is, because K-State put Christian Brothers, I believe it's Christian Brothers College High School. It's like a prep school. And then Trinity Catholic, which is a school that's no longer open. But he was a head coach and offensive coordinator there and an assistant coach at Christian Brothers High School. Has a state championship at Trinity Catholic, and then got into coaching in the Big Ten for about 7-8 years, and then 1 season in the Big 12 at Oklahoma State last year. I'll tell you what my favorite thing about him is it's obviously not the deepest resume that K-State, Collin Klein has hired. For whatever reason, I pick up a favorite player in college football when K-State's really good. It's like I'm watching a lot more college football and K-State's good. Like I'm really paying attention hard to what everybody else is doing. And I come away with a favorite player outside of K-State. Going back to 2012, that was Dak Prescott. That was my guy outside of K-State. Mississippi State was really good. They were up there with K-State. One of the best teams in the Big 12 or the SEC. I think they beat Alabama that year. And I wanted Dak to be a Dallas Cowboy. Look what he became. He became a Dallas Cowboy. Well, but going back to 2022, so just 3 years ago, that player was Chase Brown. Chase Brown, a running back at Illinois, and he turned out to be the best running back in Illinois history. Where in 2 seasons, he ran for 2,600 yards and 15 touchdowns, and he was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. I liked him probably because he reminded me of Deuce Vaughn. He was just a taller Deuce Vaughn. Not the bulkiest guy, but had incredible burst. He could step through arm tackles like they were nothing. He made it look easy to break tackles. Difference, though, he was running behind a worse offensive line than what K-State was playing with. I mean, K-State had the best lineman in program history at the time. So, I mean, his average yards per carry was about 5 in that 2022 season, but the guy was a workhorse. I mean, he had a ton of carries in 12 games that year. And he goes to the NFL early. He leaves early. He played a season as well as Western Michigan, and he gets picked up in the 5th round by the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's not doing too bad because he's a great running back, and he's also very solid as a receiver. Like Deuce Vaughn was just as impactful going to catch the football and picking up big chunks of yards. And I think this year, he's been getting better. I think this year for Chase Brown for the Bengals, I think he had about 1,500 all-purpose yards. And I want to say like 12 or 13 touchdowns. He had a really good game a couple of weeks ago against the Miami Dolphins. I think he had 3 total touchdowns. So he's having a pretty solid NFL career so far. And, Corey Patterson, who had just been at the college level for his 3rd and 4th years in big-time coaching, developing that kind of player was quite special. And that was a great pickup and a transfer for Illinois back in 2021. Now, another part of this is, of course, what can he bring to you in recruiting? Well, he's a St. Louis guy. When it comes to, what's closer than Texas, what's closer than California and, in Florida, in the South, where you think of where the best football players come from, St. Louis might be one of the best hotbeds. And I mean, to give you an example, I just mentioned earlier where he used to coach was, talking about Corey Patterson, was Christian Brothers High School. That's where Jeremiah Love went to high school. Now, of course.
Future Kansas City Chiefs, Jeremiah Love.
You think he'll be the first-round pick?
We'll find out.
I saw that mock draft.
I will say, watching Bijan Robinson just go nuclear last night had me convinced that the Chiefs needed to draft Jeremiah Love. So.
Well, the last time the Chiefs took a running back in the first round, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Don't remind me.
That would have been right after they won the Super Bowl, right? In Miami?
Yes.
Because Jeremiah Love's a first rounder, even though running backs aren't that popular anymore to take in the first round. He is a first round talent. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist. Some say he should have won the Heisman Trophy. I did not vote for Jeremiah Love for the Heisman Trophy, but he would have been probably 4th place if there was a 4th vote. Probably 4th on my ballot. Well, he's a St. Louis kid. St. Louis is a deeper talent pool than Kansas City, but bring in Jeremiah Johnson. He's got the connections to Kansas City, and in this area, there are guys, high school talent that is being pulled into all directions of college football, to the SEC, to the Big Ten. Great talent going to the Group of Fives. K-State has done a decent job here and there picking up St. Louis guys and certainly Kansas City guys. Dylan Duff, for example, is from the St. Louis area. But it just doesn't. Ezekiel Elliott, if you want to bring up a Dallas Cowboy, I believe Zeke Elliott is from St. Louis. Sam Laporta is a St. Louis guy. A lot of kickers and punters also from the St. Louis area.
Mr. Simone Biles, Jonathan Owens is from St. Louis.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember, Luther Burden. Now, he went to Missouri. Missouri Tigers have done a pretty solid – they did in 2025. They did a really good job of recruiting the St. Louis area. Of course, that's an hour and a half away to Columbia, Missouri, so it's kind of an easy – I say easy – it's obviously where Missouri wants to kind of control that, but everybody these days are attacking the St. Louis area. K-State, I'm sure, wants a piece of that pie. Collin Klein wants to recruit St. Louis pretty hard. And so I'm assuming, this is an expectation that Corey Patterson has, obviously a very deep connection to that area. He is from there. He has coached high school football. He is regarded as one of the best, coaches to be, I say one of the best coaches. Certainly, I would say over the last decade and a half of winning a state championship and then going to the college level, regarded as one of the more important coaches in recent history in the St. Louis area. So that's about as deep as I can take it right now, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to probably watch this a lot closer than a lot of others because I'm a big running backs guy. And we know how important, certainly around here, how important that position is. You want to talk about some of the most popular cats of all time, look at the running back position. Of course, it's a flashy position. It's a skill position. It's a very important position. So, welcome in Corey Patterson. Now, let's fill in some gaps. Is that what I want to say? Let's kind of fill you in on what is still needed for Collin Klein. So he's got his DC, that's Jordan Peterson. He's got the co-DC also coaching defensive backs, Marcus Woodson, defensive line, Buddy Wyatt sticking around. Nick Toth is going to coach linebackers. Again, Jeremiah Johnson, defensive backs. On offense, Corey Patterson, running backs. Christian Ellsworth at quarterback. Special teams is Stan Weber. GM is Trey Scott. K-State hasn't officially announced it, but it sounds like from A&M, Jeremy Jacobs is going to be the strength and conditioning coach. Taylor Bratt sticking around, is staying he's about to reach 2 decades, I believe, right? Director of recruiting. So K-State still needs offensive coordinator, offensive line, wide receivers, and tight ends. And we assume Brian LePack is going to be retained to take one of those spots. Let's take a break. And when we come back, speaking of a new position coach at K-State, he has been, as far as we have heard, and we'll double check with him in just a moment, over the last 2 years, the youngest position coach in the SEC is now working for the Wildcats. His name is Christian Ellsworth, and he joins us next on The Game.
Miss any of the show?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Never fear, sports fan. Check out The Game podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and newsradiokman.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. When we talk about the best front offices in football, conversation usually centers around the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Lions. One franchise keeps getting left out of the spotlight. The Seahawks, guided by GM John Schneider, quietly built one of the sharpest operations in football. His resume already included the Legion of Boom, but his latest act more impressive. After Pete Carroll's departure, he nailed the hire of Mike McDonald, found a winning quarterback in Sam Darnold, and crushed this year's draft. He traded for Rashid Shaheed, and he has added a burst to the offense, and he has watched Jackson Smith-Njigba grow from promising to elite. The results are impossible to ignore. Seattle 10-3, second best odds to win the Super Bowl. That rise is not a fluke. It's the product of a front office operating at the highest level. And John Schneider and the Seahawks deserve their place in any conversation about the best team builders in football. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagal, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Crispy, faded, lit, baked, toasty, stoned, blazed, zooted. When you're high, there are a lot of ways to say it. But there's only one thing you need to remember. Driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. An experienced skill position coach with 8 years of work at Power 4 schools after a highly successful stint as a high school head coach, Corey Patterson has been hired as Kansas State's running backs coach, head coach Collin Klein announced Tuesday. Patterson most recently coached the running backs during the 2025 season at Oklahoma State, while he also worked at Illinois coaching tight ends and running backs from 2018 to 2022, and he was the associate head coach and wide receivers coach at Purdue from 2023 to 2024. Prior to his time working in college, Patterson was a successful high school coach in the St. Louis area, first as an assistant at Christian Brothers and Trinity Catholic before earning a 27-6 record and a state title as a head coach at Trinity Catholic. K-State women's basketball will return to Brandledge for the first time in 3 weeks tomorrow as they play their first home Big 12 game of the season against Cincinnati on Wednesday. The 7-7 Wildcats will look to pick up their first conference win of the season against the Bearcats, who come into the game at 5-8 overall and 0-1 in Big 12 play. Tip is set for 1 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 12:30 on News Radio KMAN and Sunny 102.5. Citrus Bowl coverage between Michigan and Texas will follow the conclusion of the game.
All right, before we get to Christian Ellsworth, a couple of things here. You know, players like to put out these teasers about a return, so to speak here. First of all, Antonio Martin, it sounds like he's going into the transfer portal, running back. Travis Bates, putting on social media, Emaw.
It's good to hear.
So it looks like the defensive lineman is sticking with us. And then this tweet a couple of hours ago, and I saw our good buddy Toby from the Manhattan Mercury. I didn't see this until a few moments ago. He tweeted it out. Jace Brown tweeted out a highlight reel of him at K-State with the emoji soon with an arrow. So, is Jace Brown teasing a return to K-State?
You know, social media and the evolution of its use has led to things like this, where we just have literally no idea what's happening. I mean, same thing with Quay Moss, where he posted the highlight video of K-State, of his playing time at K-State. Is it him saying he's back? Which I believe that one got reposted by a few noteworthy members within the K-State staff, such as Taylor Bratt, I believe, was one of them. For the Jace Brown one, it also could just be him saying he's going to commit to a new team soon. And these are my highlights because I'm a beast, and he was at K-State for 3 years.
Taylor Bratt, if you're listening, I will
please
wait
repost
for your
it.
retweet.
Please, Taylor. Please.
All right, let's, speaking of veneer, speaking of the K-State football staff, let's get to our first guest here on the show today. We are pleased to be joined by new K-State quarterbacks coach. He is a youngin', and he is Christian Ellsworth, who makes his way over with Collin Klein from Texas A&M after 2 years with the Aggies. He also spent a couple of years with K-State as a grad assistant right out of college. Christian now joins us on the game. And Coach Ellsworth, first of all, really appreciate your time. Are you joining us? Are you on the road, or are you here in Manhattan?
Yeah, I am in Manhattan. I'm sitting up in my office at Veneer, and got greeted a couple of days ago with a snowstorm coming up from Texas. So that was a nice welcome home. But no, we're in Manhattan and looking forward to getting going.
Yeah, what phase are you in right now? Now that you're in Manhattan and you're getting to work, what's the first thing on the list?
Well, you just hit the ground running. There's so much to do. A lot of it revolves around getting to know as many guys on our current roster as we can. Obviously, we have to prepare for the transition of roster with the portal, and having our plans ready for that. So that's a big part of it. And when you can steal time, it's what I've been doing is watching, trying to go back through and watch practice tape and watch game tape of the quarterbacks and really of the whole offense, just to get a feel as best I can for the roster that we have coming back.
How much have you talked with Avery so far?
I've talked with Avery a couple times. We talked pretty soon after Coach Klein had offered me the quarterback job, but we knew each other through recruiting when he was here, coming on visits. I was a GA at the time. As I stepped away from Kansas State and was at a couple other schools, it's been fun watching his career and success that he's had. And obviously I know he and Coach Klein are very close. And, one thing that Avery and I talked about was the bond that we're going to be able to share, having both played quarterback for Coach Klein, and just what he expects out of that position. And I think my perspective in that and being able to relate in regards to that is really going to help our relationship. And, so we're looking forward to spending a ton of time with him and continuing to get to know each other and attack this thing together.
Yeah, you mentioned the two big words there, transfer portal, and, it's not surprising to see a number of guys go in with a coaching change and all that. I mean, it happens this day and age, but I suppose the one assumption you would think with the connection between Collin Klein and Avery Johnson is a safe stay. But, as we sit here right now, you guys fully expect Avery to be the quarterback next year?
I mean, yeah, we do. And obviously there's always things that happen in the world of college athletics that we live in right now that, there are things that could come up, but we have every anticipation of him being the guy rolling out there, and we can't wait for that. We know he's a competitor. We know that he's got the attention of the guys around him, and I truly believe, and I know Coach Klein believes, that we're going to win a lot of games, and Avery's going to be right at the middle of that, and we're going to put the talent around him to be able to go and give us the best chance at doing it.
This move from College Station back to Manhattan, did it happen just as fast for you as it did for Collin Klein, just about?
Well, when Coach Klein was announced as a head coach, that was shortly after the signing period. We still had about 15 days at Texas A&M before the first-round playoff game against Miami. And so one of the things that I was very adamant about doing when Coach Klein offered me the quarterback job here, when I told Coach Elko at A&M that I was going to take it and come to Manhattan, I asked and I said, Coach, it's a big thing for me to be able to coach in the playoffs and until we're done, so that we can finish this thing the right way and really do right by our players for all the effort and work that they had put in. We wanted to finish strong for them. And so, I didn't get to Manhattan until just a couple of days ago because, we played the game on the 20th. Coach Klein and myself and a couple other coaches got in a plane on the 22nd and 23rd, and we were going to visit current roster guys for us. So we didn't get to Manhattan at that time, but we were, Taylor Bratt met us with some polos and pullovers, so we at least had the logo on. But so that was really all we did before Christmas, and then after Christmas we were able to get up here. So it wasn't as fast as it was for Coach Klein, but certainly in this business, moves happen really, really quickly. And so, we're here and ready to go, and it's been a busy month.
With your stops in the SEC, and you've had others as well, but with the knowledge you've gathered, do you feel like you've really pulled in a lot of valuable things when not just coaching, but with also, the way recruiting is right now with NIL and you've also seen how it rolls at Texas A&M and also places like South Carolina. Do you feel like you've really gathered a lot of important intel that you could bring to K-State?
I think so. I've said this before. Every step in my journey has been exactly what my wife and I, and we have 2 kids, exactly what we needed at the time, as far as learning goes and just continuing to grow in this profession. And so when we left Kansas State and went to South Carolina, there was a lot of learning as far as X's and O's and the way that in the SEC the game can tend to be played in a little bit different of a style. But also, as you alluded to, the recruiting side of things and just being in a different footprint and, kind of learning some ins and outs of the game that I didn't have the understanding of before. Got to Nebraska, and that's obviously closer to home, and I'm a Nebraska kid, so again, got to take some of that and enjoyed some recruiting success because of what I learned from South Carolina. And so when I got to Nebraska, I was able to help land a couple of big local prospects, and I truly think it's because of what I learned at South Carolina, and then it all led into going to Texas A&M and being thrown into the fire as a 26-year-old position coach and having to go toe-to-toe with some of the best recruiters in the country. Makes you grow up fast, and we were able to sign 4 high school prospects that were all towards the tops of their class at the tight end position in my 2 years there, and had some great success with some of the transfers that we brought in at tight end. And so it really just made me, have to be creative, learn how to truly just go get the job done and build some unbelievable relationships. That's one thing that people are trying to get rid of in this game is the relationships. They're trying to make it transactional. I truly believe, and I know Coach Klein believes, that we are still people that care about relationships, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And I think that's why we're able to attract the talent and the type of people that we do.
Yeah, I believe I read, you mentioned your age. I believe I read somewhere that you were last year, the 2025 season, you were the youngest position coach in the SEC. Do you know if that's true?
That's right.
Wow.
Unbelievable honor when Coach Klein got the job. So actually, it was a situation where in 2024, I've been the tight end coach there the last 2 years. In 2024, that was before, when I was hired, it was before the NCAA had lifted the 10 assistant coaches rule. And so I was hired with knowing that rule was going to be passed a few months after my initial hiring. So had the opportunity for the last 2 years to be the youngest in the SEC. That's nothing that, I say that with a ton of humbleness, and obviously it's a great honor, but it's been all the people that have poured into me along the ways, and they deserve the credit. I just am so grateful just to be a steward of what they've taught me.
Let's run it back to when you became a grad assistant at K-State. It's the year 2000. I mean, you're fresh out of college, right? And correct me if I mess up any of your timeline, but you were here from 2020 to 21. And I would love to know about that first year, because, I mean, if you want to get into coaching, become a grad assistant, that's how you get your foot in the door. That's how you create contacts. It is not, from what I've heard, it is not an easy job whatsoever. But that first year is COVID year. So what do you remember from that? I mean, do you feel like you got the full experience of being a GA that first year, or did COVID rob some of that from you?
So, great question. So I graduated from Northern Iowa in 2019. I knew that I wanted to get into coaching. I got some great advice actually from Jeremiah Johnson, who is coming here as our safety coach. He was the DC at UNI for my 4 years there as a player. So really excited to reunite with him. But so JJ, I was talking to him about getting into coaching, and he gave me some recommendations on places that I should apply and what I should do. And so had some things lined up, reached out to Coach Klein. He was my first position coach in 2016. And so we had stayed in contact. He asked me to come down to Manhattan and just to spend time with him and Coach Messingham, Coach Kleiman, and the rest of the offensive staff at the time. And really just talk football. It was kind of an informal interview. By the end of the interview, there was a ton of connection, obviously, there with Coach Kleiman being a UNI guy and Coach Messingham being a UNI guy. So, it ended up working out where they offered me an opportunity to come here as a volunteer because we had 2 GAs at the time. And so I moved down to Manhattan. My wife and I were just about to get married. So try explaining to your wife and her parents that, hey, I know we're going to get married this summer, but I'm going to take a job in Manhattan and you're coming with. And I don't know if I'm going to make a single dime. I don't know what the living situation is, but we're going to make it work if we're going to chase this dream. And so very grateful that she's allowed me to make some crazy moves like that along the way. But anyway, get to Manhattan and then lo and behold, COVID starts happening. So we go all virtual. So actually at the time, my wife was finishing her student teaching. And so I was living in Kelly Klein's basement. She had a basement apartment. So that's Collin's mom. So she had a basement apartment. So I'd wake up, get on the Zooms, and then I would go work at Home Depot at night so that I could afford to live and try to start my coaching journey. So very grateful that in June of that year, June of 20, Coach Kleiman offered me a GA job, so I was able to start getting a little bit to be able to pay the rent. But then, as you said, with COVID, it was just so crazy because there were so many things that we had to do. You asked if I got the full GA experience. I probably got the full experience and then some because of all the things that we had to do virtually. So we had to take the whole playbook and turn it all into a virtual playbook to send out to the guys as they're all at home. We had to, when we were able to bring them back for workouts, we would be in charge of taking food over to their apartments and their houses and things like that. And so there were a lot of little tasks that probably got added onto our normal plate. You asked if I felt robbed. The only time I probably felt robbed of anything was walking into those stadiums and, not being able to have a full crowd. But was able to be here for the 21 year. I think it made that year all the more special and had some decent success that year as well, winning the Texas Bowl. But there are just so many awesome things that I learned through my time here as a GA. I actually worked with Coach Riley for my first year, so working with the O-line was awesome. Made me grow up pretty fast, and just very grateful for the experience here in Manhattan.
K-State quarterbacks coach Christian Ellsworth is our guest for a few more moments. And I believe I recently saw some pictures of you. You were sitting with Skylar Thompson during a timeout, and you had the headset on, and you were chatting about, obviously about the game. And so, of course, I take that as proof that you were allowed to do some coaching as a grad assistant during your first 2 years at K-State in 2020 and 21. Assuming you were allowed to coach, is there any credit you want to take for player development in Skylar or Will Howard or Deuce Vaughn or any of the wide receivers or linemen? Or is there a game that you had a big influence on as a coach?
For me to take credit for anybody's play, that'd be a stretch. I just was grateful to be a part of all of their journeys. You think of the names, the Skylers and the Wills and Deuce, and at tight end with Ben Sennett and Briley Moore, who actually was one of my roommates and teammates at Northern Iowa before he transferred over here. And then Nick Lenners and those types of guys that. I'm probably missing a few, and then at wideout, where I really spent most of my time in 21 with Malik Knowles and Phillip Brooks and Landry Weber and, all the guys that Seth Porter and what he did, but just built so many great relationships. And so if there was one game where I would say, all right, I feel like I had a big part of this one, it would be the Texas Bowl when Malik went crazy. And actually, one of the pictures that I posted when I said that I was coming back was me and Malik celebrating in the end zone. And that was one of the moments that I probably wish I had back as a coach. I was just fired up that Malik made a play and happened to run down to the end zone and chest bumped him. And I think there's a video clip that was going around on K-State Twitter after I was announced because. People remembered the energy and the juice, and that's truly all it was. Just happy for Malik and excited to celebrate with him, and just grateful I didn't get a penalty because I got a pretty scowling look from Coach Kleiman on my way back to the box. But it was a fun moment.
I'll test your memory here for a second because one of maybe my favorite Skylar Thompson pass was to Malik Knowles in that game. And to me, it was the most NFL-like pass he had ever made. If I say that, do you know what pass I'm talking about?
It was probably the one. It was the play action, and it was the big shot down. We were going from left to right in the stadium.
Yep. I think that I just can't pinpoint it like what time and what the score was, but yes, I think it was like double coverage was coming into it, and
safety was coming over the top, and he put it right in the breadbasket over the corner before the safety got there.
Yeah, that play exactly. That was an incredible throw. You're right. Malik Knowles had a great game for sure. And of course, went on to be a pretty big factor in 2022 and winning a Big 12 championship. All right, Christian, to wrap up, to put a bow on this, Collin Klein called you in the release of you getting the job a rising star in the profession. So I know it's not easy to talk about yourself, but I'm going to ask you to do that for just a moment. About when you hear that quote from Collin Klein, what does that mean to you, and what do you feel like that represents when it comes to how you go about being a coach at this level?
Certainly tremendous honor to hear those words from Coach Klein. I'd be stupid to not talk about all the people that have led to that. Been very, very fortunate in this business to be where I'm sitting, to have gone to the schools that I've been at. It's the 4 head coaches, and now going to be 5 with Coach Klein, that have poured into me, with Coach Kleiman and Coach Beamer and Coach Rule and Coach Elko and now Coach Klein. It's all the offensive coordinators I've worked with. It's the people, even from a life growth and spiritual side of things. Kevin Ingram here in town in Manhattan, Ron Brown at Nebraska, Philip Bethencourt at Texas A&M. It's people that have really, truly given me everything that they have to help me on this journey. And then last but certainly not least, and most importantly, is my wife, Cassie, my daughter, Ada, our son, Brooks, and their commitment and being bought into this game. This is truly a special profession. We get the opportunity to be around 18 to 22-year-old guys who are in a very transformational period of their lives. And just like Coach Klein impacted mine, that's what I hope to be for them. And so I've been very blessed, very fortunate to have coached at a lot of schools, to have risen through the ranks very, very fast. Been a SEC position coach starting at the age of 26, get the chance to coach quarterbacks at Kansas State at 28. It's an opportunity that I do not take lightly, but I also know that I'm prepared and I'm ready for it. And that's because of the people that I've been able to be around, the success that I've been able to be around, and a lot of hard work and a lot of just dedication towards these young men. And I can't wait to put that on display here at Kansas State, and can't wait to see us put in the work to go and go compete for championships.
Well, Coach Ellsworth, really appreciate you giving me a few moments of your time during a very busy moment of your time here at K-State. But I wish you nothing but the best of luck here in your future and in your success so far. Congratulations on that. And we'll see you certainly down the road. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And that is Christian Ellsworth, K-State quarterback coach, joining us here on The Game. Yeah, I'm sure, really busy time, a lot of conversations to be had. Still some hirings to be made by Collin Klein. Things are just getting started there. Veneer, of course, trying to look into retain players. The messages on social media, or the cryptic text, or the videos, the highlight reels. Some teasers out there. No, I do not believe Jace Brown is coming back. I want to make that pretty clear. I do not think Jace Brown is coming back to K-State, but we'll see what happens. But what I do know, what I can confirm, is that we are giving away 4 tickets to the BYU game on Saturday. Tips off at 12:30, Powercat game day 10:30 in the morning. And we need you to text a K-State men's basketball player's name to 785-537-1350. That'll just get you in the drawing, but if you get the name exactly right of what Cole has written down on a piece of paper that I don't even know, you'll win them automatically. If nobody gets it right at the end of the drawing, we'll give the tickets away in the 2 o'clock hour. The tickets and a parking pass for Saturday's game against BYU. Again, text a K-State basketball player's name from the last 20 years. Whatever you think it could be. 785-537-1350. Jabroni of the Week is after these words.
Your home for K-State sports. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air will provide honest and quality service when you need it most. From a leaky faucet to replacing your water heater. Trust the experts at D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air, your York and other makes and models local dealer. Call 537-7138 today.
Turn your memories into a masterpiece at Candlewood Frame Shop. Whether it's framing your favorite pictures floating around in the digital cloud or creating a shadow box with cherished things or memorable events. Candlewood Frame Shop. Let them turn your stories into a masterpiece.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
This January 31st, the lights rise, the masks drop, and the mission begins. Light MHK presents The Light Within, a Phantom's Ball for Change. A full night of music, art, performance, and powerful purpose. Bid big in the live and silent auctions and help raise funds for those in our community seeking mental health care and support. It's transformation. It's inspiration. It's the light that lives inside us all. Get your tickets now at lightmhk.com. That's lightmhk.com. Presented by Manhattan Broadcasting and Light MHK. Lighting the way to change.
News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 46 degrees with wind out of the west at around 7 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear in a low around 24 as we head to tomorrow. Sunny in a high near 52. Still that light west wind at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, mainly in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, increasing clouds in a low around 25. To start the new year, mostly cloudy in a high near 42. On Friday, partly sunny in a high near 43.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. You jabronis hit the jackpot.
That Hollywood blonde jabroni, Hulk Hogan.
Ow. Is this Jabroni's name?
Jabroni of the Week.
Well, first of all, a bummer. Jeremiah Johnson and the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers lose the Independence Bowl to Louisiana Tech 23-14. Gosh dang. You look good on camera, though. Got a sweet beard. Looks healthy. Looks strong. All right, anyway. 3 dishonorable mentions. We'll culminate with my Jabroni of the Week. We didn't have a show, obviously, last week on a Tuesday, so I feel like we got a few things to make up on. First on dishonorable mention, should we just give it to the whole state of Missouri?
I like that.
They lost the Chiefs.
Feels appropriate.
Feels like a pretty jabroni move to me. It's because we're richer than they are.
Yeah, and we gave them a better deal.
Gave them a better deal.
Those losers in Missouri.
And if you know cheapskates, we like a good deal. It's like I could be cheap myself. I mean, I'm not rich by any means, but I do like a good deal. Who doesn't like a good deal? All right, so the state of Missouri is a dishonorable mention. Next, do you watch the show Stranger Things?
I don't. I watched it. I watched like season 1 and part of season 2 and then lost interest.
Yeah, so I've watched every episode, and the last couple of seasons I've watched with Lindsay. The final season is season 5, and it's coming out right now. They released like a bunch of episodes, Thanksgiving, another handful of episodes, Christmas, and then I think tomorrow or Thursday is the final episode. It's supposed to be a long episode, but it's the final episode ever of Stranger Things. I'm like, anybody be honest here. Does anybody that watches the show know 100% what is going on? They need to kill off some characters. There is a ton of them. Like, nobody dies in this show. And people are making comparisons to Game of Thrones. I think that's fair, but at least in Game of Thrones, you had some drama in some folks getting 86th. It doesn't happen in Stranger Things. But the jabroni move here is they did have a Game of Thrones moment where you might remember seeing this online once upon a time in the final season of Game of Thrones, that somebody left a Starbucks cup in the shot, and it ended up on TV. Well, what happened with Stranger Things, and I believe it happened in episode 7 when one of the girls on the show is like stuck in the goo. I forget all the character names. I don't pay attention that close to the story. I just, I'm here to see what happens. One of the girls is wearing an Under Armour shirt, and the Under Armour logo is boom right there in your face.
Didn't exist back in the
this show, it takes place in the late 80s. Well, Under Armour wasn't invented and didn't start until 1996.
Attention to detail, folks.
My last dishonorable mention, how about Johnny Manziel for no showing College Game Day after he went to the Jake Paul fight in Miami? He was supposed to be in College Station the next day to be the guest picker. He no-showed him.
Are we really shocked?
And then, well, no, not really.
It's Johnny Manziel.
I mean, when you get into your 30s, you should be a little bit less of a, degenerate, I suppose. I mean, he likes to party. We all know that. He hasn't changed there. That he'll be a partier the rest of his life. But he was blaming it on food poisoning or the stomach flu or something like that. I actually have it on good authority. I actually have a source in Miami that was an eyewitness to Johnny Manziel partying late into the night and into the morning in Miami.
Got the bug.
Sure. And then finally, Jabroni of the Week. What can you tell us about the Diggs brothers and what happened today?
Well, one of them got cut. Trayvon got cut, released, I guess would be the correct terminology, from the Cowboys because of a lot of reasons, but mainly he's not been very good recently. And then also Stephon Diggs accused of felony strangulation back in early December. And this was all within like 4 hours of each other. So not a great morning/early afternoon for the Diggs brothers.
Yeah, Trayvon goes from literally the best defensive player in the NFL to having injuries, and then when he plays, he stinks. He's not as good. I mean, all this year, he didn't have a single interception.
Concussed by a TV stand.
I mean, interceptions is his thing. All right, we got to take a break. Coming up next, the best in K-State Sports 2025. Jeff Mittie joining us in hour number 2 on The Game. Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Hi, this is Carrie Hall. My wife Lauren and I are senior citizens like many of you. We've had a Blue Cross and Blue Shield Medicare policy for the last 10 years. Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans all across Kansas, with many with zero or very low premium. Call today at 866-692-3077 or online at bcbskansas.com. We pride ourselves on being your hometown carrier. We're Main Street, not Wall Street.
Not available in Wyandotte or Johnson County.
KS State Bank offers convenient services to help make life a little easier. Visit ksstate.bank to learn more. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. KMAN, Manhattan. KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 45 degrees, wind out of the west just at around 3 miles per hour with clear skies. Mostly clear tonight with a low of around 24 as we head to tomorrow. Sunny and a high near 52. That wind out of the west at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, mainly in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, some clouds rolling in and a low around 25 to start the new year. Mostly cloudy and a high near 42. Partly sunny and a high near 43 on Friday.
Cole, the song you just decided to play just happens to be my favorite song ever. That checks in at less than 2.5 minutes.
We've gone over it before, actually.
Oh, have we?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good.
I could have finished that sentence for you.
Mississippi Queen by Mountain.
It's a banger.
I believe the guitarist is Leslie West, who was one of the very few Jewish guitarists when it comes to like bands that made it in rock and roll, especially in the 70s.
Interesting.
You learned something.
I did.
You should hear Dave Grohl did a great cover of Mississippi Queen.
Really?
I wish they would do that he would do that on tour. That would be pretty sweet. Do a couple of covers. I mentioned the DGs, right? It's his Bee Gees cover band that he released an album on, and the first and only time I've seen the Foo Fighters was, this would have been 3 years ago, Kansas City, Sandstone, and played Should Be Dancing, and it was awesome. His high-pitched voice is hilarious. It's not great. It's okay.
Now, I'm going to add something here at the risk of being wrong, but I'm trying to flex some of my growth in knowledge.
Here we go.
That is the former member of Nirvana, correct?
That is correct.
Come on now.
He's also not the only former member. You got Pat Smear, who's also on the, and that's his name, a part of the Foo Fighters. Now, Chris Novoselic, and of course Kurt Cobain. But Novoselic, he went into politics.
Really?
He did. Anyway, so you just learned a little. Well, you brought the knowledge to me. That's great stuff.
Every day, every day on the show.
Yep, you are correct. He was the drummer, and he says he stole all the drumming beats from old disco groups.
Well, there you go.
How about let's get to the giveaway first. Let's see. We're giving away 4 tickets and a parking pass to the game against BYU Saturday at 12:30 Power K game day, 10:30 in the morning. And to win these tickets, just text in a K-State basketball player's name that played for the Cats in the last 20 years to 785-537-1350. If you match the player picked out by Cole Dutchendorf before we do the actual giveaway, you automatically win the tickets and the parking pass. If you don't, we go to the drawing at the end of the show.
And I still have not seen it. No one has gotten it just yet.
Okay, so one of my picks, I wrote down 3, was Clint Stewart. It's not Clint Stewart.
It is not.
Well, we should probably go ahead and tell everybody who's been eliminated then.
Yes, that's a good idea.
If you would have picked Downtown Fred Brown, I would have done the rest of the show without a shirt on. That would have been an insane poll for you.
It's not Jamar Samuels. It's not Clint Stewart, as you just mentioned. It's not Wesley Iwundu, Xavier Sneed, Barry Brown, Keontae, Nigel Pack, Marquise Noel, Doug McDaniel. Do the Doug, yeah. Like I laughed when I saw that one come through. Rodney Magruder. There's a couple on there I don't even think I need to mention because I don't even recognize those names at all. It's not Curtis Kelly, not Jamar Samuels, not the White Tiger. Not DJ Johnson.
I don't know who the White Tiger is. That nickname does not ring a bell.
No idea.
Boy, I tell you what, I used to tell this to John Kurtz all the time. I was not a Curtis Kelly guy for a long time because he was a flopper. And that annoyed me a little bit. Justin Edwards?
Nope.
That one just
not
came
him
in.
or Dominique Sutton.
Ooh, Dominique Sutton. He was a good player. All right, so the giveaway's still ongoing. Let me mark out another one. I pulled up some names here that it cracks me up. Oh, Darren Kent. Wow. Okay, man, Darren Kent. What a sweetheart. I remember the students. So he played when the benches were on the other side. They were by the student section, and the first games I was going to as a kid, he was on the team, and the students. Honestly, the reception that Dorian Buka gets, Darren Kent used to get that reception for when he would come into the game. Like, he became that kind of fan favorite. Was Darren Kent a little bit more talented? Maybe. Not as tall.
Yeah, just 6'11". It's not Javon Thomas.
Shout out to Rick for that poll. I'd never heard that nickname for Darren Kent.
Yeah, it's a little bit before my time.
All right, so nobody's got it right? No
Not
Javon
yet.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Well, they're still rolling.
Let me know
in.
whenever I need to maybe zero in the parameters a little bit further.
So, again, we're giving away 4 tickets to BYU on Saturday with a parking pass, 785-537-1350. Text us a K-State men's basketball player's name from the last 20 years. If you get it exactly right with Cole, you're automatically winning the tickets. If not, we will draw for a winner at the end of the show. Oh, by the way, we may need to play the cat attack for this. Some breaking news. It's not that big of a deal, but Joe Lenardi's bracketology has K-State on not the first 4 out, not the next 4 out, but the next.
We are so back.
We're back, baby. Here we go. Mitch Richmond did not play in the last 20 years.
He did not.
He did not play in the last 20 years. So it's not Mitch Richmond. Is it Michael Beasley?
It's not Michael Beasley.
I'm loving the texts that are rolling in. Not Michael Beasley. All right, let me mark out one of the, and then we'll move on here. I crack myself up for some of the names I just put down on here. It's funny just because I think people forgot about them. Nigel Shad.
It is not Nigel
Not
Shad.
Nigel Shad. Because you said it'd be kind of tough. All right, let me put one more guess in there. I'm going to remove myself from the competition. I thought this kid was going to be a stud. He was not. He didn't really even play. Rudy Williams.
It is not Rudy Williams.
Damn it.
I'll give one hint.
No hints.
Okay. I mean, this wouldn't be okay.
Are you taking a few years off the time gap here of what we're picking from? Or
I was going to do that to lower the time constraint down a little bit.
All right, lower the time constraint.
It's the last 10 years.
The last 10 years. Okay. So we're talking Bruce Weber and on.
Oh, look at that. Back-to-back Will Spradlings. It is not Will Spradling.
Oh, nice. Need a swig of water there real quick.
Fun.
Had to gear up for...
I like being on this side of it.
All right, so while these texts are coming in, I want to take a look back at the year 2025. I had a lot of fun with this on the morning show today about looking back at the calendar year and about what has happened, because it also kind of puts in perspective just what kind of transition we've been in a couple of sports, the changes. To me, it really is quite fascinating. I mean, we started the year with K-State. Really, it was K-State baseball that kind of came out on a high note. They started poorly on the road, 1-4, and they went to Arlington, Texas. They beat number 5 Arkansas. They beat number 25 Michigan. They beat number 22 TCU to all of a sudden have a 500 record. And then they started 10-0 at Toyton Family Stadium. They started 8-1 in Big 12 play. It was quite an impressive start for K-State baseball that ended up getting to an NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. And they finished 1-2 in the Austin Regional. So it didn't have a super regional like the 2024 season. I also believe that team had the program record in Big 12 wins because they're playing more Big 12 games. Men's basketball, the 6-game winning streak. That happened in February.
They can never take that away from us.
Well, here's a good trivia question. Who are the 6 wins against?
Iowa State.
Okay.
Kansas.
Yep.
The one that started it was, I believe, West Virginia.
That's correct.
Arizona was at the tail end of it.
That was. In the Utah trip.
correct. The not so great Utah trip. I want to say on the road at Arizona State.
Yeah, one more.
Was it home or away? Do you have that?
It was at home.
At home. I'll just throw out. Oh, Oklahoma State.
Joe Lenardi moved the Cats to the next 4 out, baby. We're on a roll right now. Yes, the 6 wins in a row, capped off by the steal and a dunk by Moby Ike Garuka. The place just goes bonkers. 3 wins over top 25 teams. The win against Iowa State at Hilton Coliseum, do you remember that win ended Iowa State's 29-game home winning streak? And the Cats won by 19.
Blew them out.
Twice in that game, though, the Cyclones got it down to like a 2-possession game.
Yeah, it was really scary.
And the Cats blew it back open. And I will never forget the Armadillo Assassin. Yes, I said the Armadillo Assassin. His 3-pointer from the Pioneer Seed logo, and just the exhale of shock from the Iowa State fans.
The groans.
It was sweet. And then, of course, they didn't make it the NCAA tournament. And who remembers that after the KU game the next day, who was back in town? Michael Beasley was back in town for the game. And then he gets pinched at Manhattan Regional Airport the next day for having pot on him.
Oh, man.
And the bond was $750. Have not heard a word about that since. Must have taken care of it.
I assume they expunged that from the record.
How about the K-State women's basketball team?
Man.
They'll give Kentucky another chance with 3 seconds left. Lob into Strack, back to Amor, baseline, missed it. It's over! It's over! It's over! Kansas State has done it!
Maybe one of my favorite Brian Smoller calls.
Fantastic.
You can hear just in his voice what that win meant to K-State women's basketball. They sent the Wildcats to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2002. That win was against Kentucky in overtime in Lexington, 80-79. We don't talk enough about this. Kansas State owns Kentucky in basketball. Men's or women's postseason play, K-State cannot be touched by Kentucky. Oh, and I should point this out as well. And we'll get to more about this here in just a little bit, but women's golf went to Lexington. Carla Bernat wins that regional. We'll get to women's golf here in just a second. Of course, the season does wrap up in the Sweet 16, losing to USC. Aoka Lee announces her retirement from basketball after that. Meanwhile, for Serena Sundell.
With the 26th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Seattle Storm select Serena Sundell, Kansas State University.
Now, the only sucky part about that was she was taken way later than expected, and she basically sat there all night.
And then got cut like a month later.
Yeah, like 2 weeks later or something like that. 3 K-State football players selecting the NFL draft. Jacob Parrish to the Buccaneers, DJ Giddens to the Colts, and Marquise Siegel to the 49ers, who I believe is having a pretty solid year.
Parrish and Siegel have been legitimately really good this year.
And then back to women's golf.
Escudero with this par putt to win the championship. And another Spaniard shines at Augusta National as Carla Bernat Escudero takes the title.
And it was during one of the games this year, K-State football games, that they brought her out with the trophy for winning at Augusta. And was honored. Carla Bernat winning at Augusta National, I think it's fair to say, other than maybe it's even greater in some aspects. But K-State women's basketball making it to the Sweet 16. Carla Bernat winning at Augusta.
Sick.
Probably the top 2 moments in K-State sports in 2025, the calendar year. The K-State women's team, of course, went on to win the Lexington Regional, like I mentioned earlier. K-State volleyball, who knew that they would win a game at Allen Fieldhouse before the K-State men's basketball team did since 2006?
In dramatic fashion as well. Fifth set.
5 sets. They came back down 2 sets to 1 to win that. Here is the final point.
Zelenovic missed it.
And Kansas State gets the win in Allen Fieldhouse.
Well, it's the first win for the Cats against KU in volleyball since 2020. Of course, from there on, K-State went on to the NCAA tournament, won in the first round against San Diego in Lincoln, Nebraska. Shaylee Myers, the 12th player in program history to be named an All-American. K-State football.
Avery Johnson with a new possession. Devon Rice's tailback. Off play action. Over the top. Full send. Jace Brown. Gone. 78 to the house.
The crowning achievement there was K-State extending the winning streak. Why was I so nervous? Well, I wasn't the only one that thought, man, this could just be KU's year to get it done, especially with K-State's struggles this season. But they go into a 2/3 new booth in Lawrence, and they smacked the Jayhawks 42-17 to extend the winning streak over KU to 17 straight. That is now the longest uninterrupted series winning streak in FBS college football. Second place Georgia over Kentucky with 16 straight.
Not the most fun season in the world, but I'll tell you what, really fun middle of it when you get to dominate on the road against your rival. Pretty fun one.
Well, I mean, this season, we talked about it before the KU game, this season had turned into just be KU.
Yeah.
It's already a disappointing year. It's going to be just too hard to salvage it. I mean, we were really close to having a hell of an upset against Utah. But even with any major postseason implications, it was too little too late. But that still would have been pretty crazy. I mean, the most rushing yards in program history was quite insane. Joe Jackson became the all-time leading rusher in a single game in K-State history, passing Darren Sproles, who held the record for 21 years. But then a shocker of a headline as we wrap up here. It was about 40 days after K-State beat KU. After 7 seasons, Chris Kleiman announces that he would be retiring from coaching. And it was 2 days later, K-State had its next football coach, announced by athletics director Gene Taylor.
You guys know him probably as well as I do. You've been watching him for a long time. But how great of a pleasure it is for me to introduce to you our next head football coach at Kansas State University, Coach Collin Klein.
Gets a standing ovation. Collin Klein becomes the 36th head coach in program history, taking over his alma mater at a base salary, average salary of $4.3 million.
What a whirlwind of a week. That was crazy.
Before we wrap it up, I do want to give a shout out, because I did this on the morning show today as well, that I want to give a shout out to our local state champions at the high school level. For the year of 2025, both, this winter and spring semester of last school year to this school year's fall semester. Last winter, Manhattan High Wrestling, they're looking to win 3 straight state championships as a team this year. They won it last year, their second straight, 6th all-time. Where history could definitely be made, though, Caleb Hutchinson. He has won 3 consecutive individual state championships. He's looking to win a 4th this year. In spring sports, a lot of individual and team, like relay team, state championships in track and field. Wamego boys golf, man, do they have a stranglehold on 4A, because boys golf won the 4A state championship, their 3rd straight, as they got it done.
And they dominated, too.
Yeah, they dominated. They were kicking butt, I'm sure. I mean, they got a great chance to do it as well again this year. Back to track and field, though, I want to give this a shout-out. We saw the historic careers of Hannah Pellet and Harley Omley from Manhattan High come to an end. Those two, along with Sarah Oberruder and Michelle Gigi, they hold the Kansas track and field record of any class ever, with the fastest 4x1 time of 46.84 seconds, and they did it at the state meet in Wichita.
Pretty fast.
And I was there. Go to the K-Man YouTube channel to find that video. In fall sports, boy, Manhattan and Wamego cleaned up there too. Girls cross country, Manhattan won in 6A, their 4th title and the first since 2015. The boys Wamego team in 4A, they won their 2nd straight and 3rd in the last 4 years, as they just won about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, for their 11th title in program history. Wamego and Manhattan girls golf teams winning the state championship in 6A for the Manhattan girls, their 13th title in program history, and their second in as many years. And Gabby Meyer, she was just one stroke off of first place. Kat Ball finished in third. They are turning in truly now to that juggernaut once again. And Wamego girls golf winning the state championship. Addison Douglas did something only 3 other girls previous to her had done. That is in golf, win 4 individual state championships. Addison Douglas from Wamego becomes the 4th to ever do it in the state of Kansas.
Not bad.
And then finally, Manhattan High football. You were there along with Toby Hamas. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play the last 27 seconds of your call of that game.
13 seconds left, and that's going to do it. From Emporia, history made. It's been 30 years since we've seen a shutout in a 6A state championship game, and Manhattan has done it. They dominate all game long, and they're back on top of the 6A mountain, 27-0. They beat Olathe Northwest and win their second state championship in 4 years. Special scenes here in Emporia.
Oh, that was pretty good.
It was solid.
It was pretty good. The first shutout in a state championship game in 6A in 30 years. Beating Olathe Northwest 27-0 in Emporia State. Finn Watson throws for a couple of rushes for a rushing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. JJ with 2 incredible catches, and the defense holding one of the best rushing offenses in Kansas to just 49 yards on 22 carries.
Special team. A lot of talent.
Let's take a break, and that's a look back at 2025. Jeff Mittie, K-State women's basketball coach, joins us next on The Game.
You're in The Game on News Radio KMAN. ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Courtney Cronin.
The Los Angeles Rams' Week 17 loss to the Atlanta Falcons might not have been the worst thing for Sean McVay's squad. Sure, the Rams want to be playing their best football going into their wild card game, thus why they're playing their starters in the finale to serve as a palate cleanser. But what we've seen from the Rams down the stretch isn't dissimilar to the Packers or the teams in races for divisions that have not been decided yet, like the AFC North and NFC South. These teams are slumping and have created more questions than answers for themselves headed into the postseason. The Rams are not a good road team this year, and the last place they want to play is where they're currently slated to visit as a 6th seed, Philadelphia. Vic Fangio's defense is playing at a championship level, and as Matthew Stafford knows all too well from getting bounced last season, that D-line can wreak havoc just like it did to the Rams' Super Bowl chances in 24. Not only does Stafford need to rebound after throwing 3 picks, and the run defense needs to stop the bleeding better than it has the last 2 games, but the Rams need to clear their path to the 5 seed and get a trip to Tampa Bay or Carolina. In 60 seconds, I'll tell you why even after a loss at San Francisco, the Bears can contend with anyone in the NFC.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
What Caleb Williams proved against the 49ers is that the Bears' offense can play with anyone. Williams went toe-to-toe with Brock Purdy, leading Chicago on 5 scoring drives and getting his team all the way down to the 2-yard line on the game's final drive. And had it not been for Ben Johnson getting that play call in too late, the Bears end up winning that game. That's why this loss should not sting as much as others. Williams said it best. I think we've proven who we are. We'll fight. I think we're a team to be reckoned with. These are moments that aren't too big for the Bears, as evidenced by their league-leading 6 wins under 2 minutes in the 4th quarter. They finally have an offense that can contend with the types of units they could win shootouts with in January. The Rams, Seahawks, Niners again. Offenses that all rank top 8 in scoring. And if the Bears' offense can show up the way it did in Week 17, a deep run through the NFC feels like a strong proposition. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Courtney Cronin.
The Wildcats.
3 wide open again, and it's perfect again.
Hit the court.
To the rim, layup good.
right here.
Yeah! How about these Cats?
Be here every game as the Wildcats pounce the hardwood all season long.
3 seconds, 2, 1, buzzer, ball game. K-State wins it.
On your home for Kansas State Wildcat basketball, the K-State Sports Network from Learfield. News Radio, KMAN.
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update, brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. An experienced skill position coach with 8 years of work at Power 4 schools after a highly successful stint as a high school head coach, Corey Patterson has been hired as Kansas State's running back coach, head coach Collin Klein announced Tuesday. Patterson most recently coached the running backs during the 2025 season at Oklahoma State, also working at Illinois coaching tight ends and running backs from 2018 to 2022. He was also the associate head coach and wide receivers coach at Purdue in 2023 and 24. Prior to his time working in college, Patterson was a successful high school coach in the St. Louis area, first as an assistant at both Christian Brothers and Trinity Catholic before earning a 27-6 record and a state title as a head coach at Trinity Catholic. K-State women's basketball will return to Bramlage for the first time in 3 weeks tomorrow as they play their first home Big 12 game of the season against Cincinnati on Wednesday. The 7-7 Wildcats will look to pick up their first conference win of the season against the Bearcats, who come into the game at 5-8 and 0-1 in Big 12 play. Tip is set for 1 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 12:30 on News Radio KMAN and on Sunny 102.5. After the game, Citrus Bowl coverage between Michigan and Texas will follow the conclusion.
I think Michigan and Texas is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about after the K-State wins basketball. I thought I misheard you. I thought you meant after the show. Because after the show, we're going to be joining in progress with the Music City Bowl.
Yep.
Tennessee and Illinois.
Underway right now.
Illinois wearing some pretty... I like their helmet today. Got a script Illinois with the blue helmet. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Alamo Bowl, so tonight USC and TCU. We will be doing some Mitch in Vegas in hour number 2 later on after we speak with Coach Mittie, but it's only going to be the college football playoff games. But there's more than just that. At Mitch the Ford on Twitter. Meanwhile, as we wait to get a hold of Jeff Mittie here and talk a little K-State women's basketball, we're ready to go. Oh, that's my bad. I'm sorry, I didn't see the phone light up here. We are giving away BYU tickets for Saturday's game, 4-pack plus a parking pass.
No one's guessed it.
A K-State men's basketball player. Give us a name over the last 10 years. 785-537-1350. Are you sure it's not Mike McGurl? We had like 3 guesses in a row.
I am positive, yes.
With Mike McGurl.
Not Dennis Clemente.
Denny Clemente. Yeah. He's young. He's young.
I am.
You would have been 4 when he played. So, anyway. All right, we welcome in K-State women's basketball coach Jeff Mittie. Coach, did you have a good Christmas?
Mitch, it was good. It was good to get a little break, and it was good to spend a little time with family, and so pretty solid. How about you?
Not too bad. I've been asking everybody who's come on about, I'm sure, Shanna does a bit of the shopping herself, but if you get out and go get somebody, is there a gift you are the most proud to give this year to somebody?
I bought one gift this year. So the gift I got Shanna was one of these 3D crystals with a picture of the granddaughters. So that was the only gift I bought all year.
Well, that's pretty sweet. Where does that end up? Does it end up on a shelf? Where does that go?
Yeah, it's going to end up, I think, just right there, kind of in our living area. Just on a shelf, and it's pretty cool actually. It turned out great, and it turned out great.
Well, I was counting up the days and how many games you've played here recently. I believe over the last 20 days you've played one game. Is there such thing at this point of the season in too much time off?
Well, I think every team's a little bit different, right? Every team needs different things, and we had played so many games early that we had really struggled getting practice time, and so I do feel better about our practice time, and certainly I'm sure there'll be some game rest, I should say, and then you couple that with the break and all those things that go with it, but we have been able to get, I think, better clarity in practice. I think we've seen some players really improve here. And we know that, the competition is going to be better than it was in non-conference. So, we've got a lot of areas that we've got to get better at. But I do think that the increased practice time has been helpful.
Would you rather have conference play start after the first of the year, or are you comfortable with it being around Christmas and the holiday break, bookending kind of the time off?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm probably one of the rare ones that I'm okay with. I'd be okay with 2 games in December. I think we crammed too many games in. Keep in mind, we have the early conference tournament game in Kansas City, so we don't get a bye. We don't have I wish we'd play 2 conference games in December and then get a bye in the season, and we don't. I think I would be for kind of a conference weekend almost, and really make it a big deal of, maybe that we've looked at, we used to do the SEC Challenge. You've seen all those. I'd like to see maybe that first weekend in December be the start of conference play, but it be an all-day long thing on TV. So we've talked about that as a league, but we haven't yet to pull the trigger on it.
I don't think we've spoken since the TCU game. If you were to take me back to that game, the number 9 team in the country who's still undefeated, and that was a 22-point loss. It was the Horned Frogs that pulled away there in the third quarter, but what did you take away from that game? Did you take away some positives? I mean, TCU had a couple of pretty major advantages, which did include their height. They got some pretty tall women.
Yeah, they're really good. I took away 2 very different teams in terms of I've said on the radio show, they're kind of the Texas Tech football in our league, and that they've really had a huge commitment. They got Olivia Miles, which there have been on the women's side, she might be the highest paid player in the country, and they are very, very veteran. I mean, they've got graduate transfers across the board, which in the NIL world is the most expensive player to sign. We're so young, and I thought the positives for us were Anaya Foy played really well. I think she has continued to improve and get better every day in practice. I thought Harad had moments. I thought Gina Garcia had moments. Gina ends up with some turnovers, but she ends up with 7 assists. So, not great, but there were some positives going into the break that we saw some things from some players that we needed to see going into the break.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, who you just mentioned there, that group of players, you're talking about freshmen that were doing what you say good things there against a really good team. When you think about this freshman group, and now you're already in Big 12 play, but now you're really entering the thick of things with, there's going to be a lot of weeks where there's 2 games a week. I guess, where do you think this freshman group is at and where they're supposed to be at this time of the year?
I told them the other day, as much as they've played, they're really not freshmen anymore. They've got enough experience. They've got enough minutes. They've played enough styles of teams. They've played a condensed schedule where they've had to prepare on a quick turnaround. So I feel like they're in a good spot. They're very similar to I guess 4 or 5 years ago when we had Serena, we had Bradley, we had Jay, we had all those freshmen that started, And now the difference with that team is they had a superstar at the center spot with Lee to kind of anchor when things didn't go well. We don't have that kind of player, but they're getting the same experiences as those players, and even more so because we're asking these freshmen, as you've seen early in the year, we've already had Gina Garcia hit a game winner at SMU. We've had Brandy Harrod hit a game winner against Ole Miss. So they're having to do more than that freshman group had to do when we had Lee 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, you had Ivana Skekic for, I believe, one practice before you made that road trip to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
You've had her for a little longer now. You said maybe she could play against TCU. She doesn't. So what's her status now moving forward? I would assume, is she good to go for Wednesday?
She's good to go. You know, we got to be realistic here. She's a 18-year-old center, and just to give you an example, TCU has 2 6'7" high school centers. One of them doesn't see the floor at all. The other one barely has seen the floor all year. I think with Ivana, she's got a chance to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes here going forward. But the best area that she's going to be able to help us is defensively. Offensively, we're probably looking at it's going to take some time. But I think the advantage of in an era where you really don't redshirt players because you just don't know how long you're going to have them, she's already obviously 2-3 weeks into her weight program. She's 2-3 weeks into her nutrition program. So I think there's going to be some benefits. I think we'll see some of it this year, but I think we'll see more of it in year 2, year 3.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, I want to kind of, if you could maybe elaborate a little bit more on, you're seeing players step up more and more in practice. We mentioned the freshmen, but is there anybody else that comes to mind that has been making some pretty major steps lately?
Well, I think Janessa Cotton played really well against TCU. I thought that there were moments in that game. I think her understanding of the offense is much, much better, particularly for an undersized player that's got to score differently against the size of TCU. I feel like that. I feel like Karen Sides continues to do some good things for us. I think Karen has always been a player that we've got to deliver the ball on time to her, and now that she's the focal point of another team, we've got to continue to do better there. We need Arenas to get back to scoring the ball better. She was scoring better, I think, in the middle part of the year. So those are some players that we need to not only have step up more in conference play, but I think Sides is continuing to do some good things. I think Cotton continues to improve. So those two are coming to mind.
You have as we wrap up here, Coach, you got a 1:00 New Year's Eve tip-off against Cincinnati coming into town. They have a record of 5-8. What's the scout on the Bearcats?
Interesting. They have been as injured as any team in the league. They had, I think they only had 8 players available for their game against Oklahoma State. They had 4 players out of the rotation, and not only did they only have 8 available, I think 4 or 5 of them were centers. So, boy, it's a crazy, and now we got the new injury report, so we'll get the injury report tonight at 7. And so we'll take a look at the injury report, see if anybody's listed as out, because it does drastically change what they do offensively and also changes what they do defensively. They beat a really good UNLV team when they were healthy, and they beat them by 17, 65-48. And then they had concussions, they had leg injuries, they had some illness. I would expect some of those players back for our game tomorrow. I think they're a really good offensive rebounding team. I think defensively, they can be a little bit challenged. I'm not sure they've found what their identity is at that end of the floor. But offensively, they look like they're pretty solid. They rebound the ball well. They've got some pretty good shooters. Maya Perry has played very well for them. So I think they're trying to find their identity like a lot of teams, and they've been more injured than most.
Yeah, Maya Perry right now averaging 18.5 points per game. Coach, with that, I will let you go. We'll see you in Bramlage tomorrow. Thank you for your time.
All right, Mitch. Hey, if I don't talk to you, Happy New Year, all right?
You too, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
That's K-State women's basketball coach Jeff Mittie here on the game. We got a couple of more minutes left. Let's take a timeout. We'll do a quick Mitch in Vegas, and then we'll wrap up the show with some Ask Us Anything. It's our last show of the week. It's our last show of 2025. And by the way, have we not had it? We got Kamal Stokes. We
have not.
Austin Budke. We got Pearson McAtee. Denny Clemente. None of them?
Not yet.
Last call for texts. 785-537-1350.
And last hint.
All right.
Played under Jerome Tang.
Oh. So pretty recent.
Yes.
Okay. Give us a player name, 785-537-1350. Just by texting us, we'll get you in the running for the giveaway. If you don't get it right, if you get it right though, you automatically win the tickets. Your last call for tickets are right now. Text us 785-537-1350. A player name from the Jerome Tang era. Mitch in Vegas next.
Your home for K-State sports.
Deflected and intercepted. Justin McKinney with the interception. I just can't believe that play call.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
Quality Collision is still open for business while they improve the intersection by the dam. Dodging a few orange cones is worth it to receive quality restoration. Keep your car looking as good as the day you bought it. Quality Collision, where quality is more than their name. It's a promise to their customers.
Connect to anywhere in the world with daily flights to Dallas and Chicago when you fly local with Manhattan Regional Airport. You'll spend less time driving, saving you gas and time. And more importantly, you'll get home quicker to the ones you love. Click your next flight at flymhk.com.
Hi, it's Andy, your local ice cream man. Come check out our new look at Baskin-Robbins located in the Manhattan Marketplace. Come get a scoop, shake, or cake. Same great flavors, new look. Baskin-Robbins, a Streeter family business. Our family serving yours.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Grab your tux and little black dress, because we're putting on the Ritz for New Year's Eve. You don't own either of those.
Phew, that's good because I was just about to tell you to leave them at home. Bottle Cap Sports Bar is throwing a super casual New Year's bash. Yep, just come as you are and don't dress up. They're breaking out your favorite games and doing giveaways all night from Burnett Tire, Vista Burger, Baskin-Robbins, The Fridge, and Wildcat Tire and Lube. Wear what you want and blow off the stuffy crowd this New Year's Eve at Bottle Cap Sports Bar, located on Wes Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Must be present to win prizes.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 45 degrees with mostly clear skies. Wind out of the west at just around 3 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear in a low around 24 as we head to tomorrow. Sunny and a high near 52. Increasing clouds in a low around 25 tomorrow night. To start the new year, mostly cloudy in a high near 42. Cloudy and a low around 28 on Thursday night. On Friday, partly sunny and a high near 43.
Well, let's pick 4 games instead of the typical 6, or in this case, with the bowl games going on, we could pick 8 or 9 a day. Well, we're just going to pick the college football playoff quarterfinals, but we have other games to pick as well. At Mitch the Ford on Twitter, get your votes in. Let's get to some picks before we find out who is Cole Dutchendorf's mystery Jerome Tang player as we give away some BYU tickets. Well, we lead off with the game that takes place tomorrow night. It is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, number 10 Miami, number 2 Ohio State from Jerry World. Ohio State is a 9.5-point favorite. By the way, let's get to the, I forgot to give you the updated standings. Cole, it's not good.
You can skip mine.
You're okay. Well, I'm 65 and 52. The people are 61 and 56, so I got a 4-game lead on the people. Cole, I got to tell the people.
By all means. Transparency.
You went 6 and 9 since the last time we did Mitch and Vegas on air. You are 50 and 67. You still have not had a week with more than 3 wins
in literally months. Yeah. Months is not an exaggeration.
Probably September.
It may be.
You had an early lead. Anyway, for the Cotton Bowl, look, I don't think Miami's going to be able to run the football against Ohio State, which, really Miami wasn't able to do that against Texas A&M until the very end when A&M got aggressive on defense and they missed a run fit, and it turned into like a 60-yard run and set Miami up for the game-winning touchdown. I don't think that's going to happen against Ohio State. They're one of the best in the nation on not allowing runs of 10 yards or more. I think that's the X factor. Ohio State covering 9.5. I think the Buckeyes win by 2 scores.
Yeah, I think it's the Ohio State defense. That's just the biggest difference in this one. They've been downright dominant all year long. They have superior offensive talent. Defense holds Miami in check, and they score enough to cover this one.
The Capital One Orange Bowl will be at 11 a.m. on New Year's Day, and Texas Tech, you are up to bat representing the Big 12 in the college football playoff, taking on the Oregon Ducks. Oregon at number 5, Tech number 4, but it's Oregon, a 2.5-point favorite. They are the only lower seed to be the favorite to win in the quarterfinals. There is not enough respect on the name of Texas Tech. Baron Morton has to be good. If he is good and they're able to convert touchdowns when they get to the red zone and not field goals, which they kind of get on a little bit of a trend when they play good teams, they're held to field goals in the red zone. Texas Tech, if they score touchdowns, they are going to win this game. Give me Tech.
This is the most analysis I'll give it. I found that Tech is one of 4 teams to win 12 games by 20-plus points in a single season. 1971 Nebraska, national champs. 2013 Florida State, national champs. 2018 Alabama, runner-ups, because 2018 Clemson also did it. They were the national champs. And I also have to believe in this Texas Tech defense. I think it's fantastic. I think they slow a very talented Oregon offense down enough to win in advance.
All right, let's get to our third game, the Rose Bowl. It's going to be Alabama and Indiana. Indiana, the overall number 1 seed. It's the Hoosiers favored by 7 points at the Rose Bowl. I'm kind of honestly 50-50 on this, but I think overall Indiana is just a better team. Their pass rush is very underrated. I'm going to say the Indiana defense gets it done, but I'm going to pick Alabama to cover +7.
I think it's just a gross game. I think it's a defensive tug of war. I do think Indiana wins, but with it being a slow, bogged-down kind of game, I'll be the same. I'll take Alabama to cover, but Indiana to win.
All right, so the last time in our final game, the last time Georgia and Ole Miss played, it was Georgia that picked up the victory earlier this year. Can Ole Miss, without Lane Kiffin, get it done against the Bulldogs? Cole, it is Georgia. I lost my spot here. Georgia favored by 6.5 points. I do feel that Georgia wins it again. They're in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Georgia, I think they win by a couple of scores.
Yeah, Georgia beat them by 8 when Lane Kiffin was still in the building. No chance Ole Miss is scoring 30-plus again without him there, and I trust the Bulldogs to take care of business on the offensive side.
All right, that's Mitch in Vegas. We made some quick picks. Now looking at the picks on who your mystery K-State men's basketball player is to win BYU tickets. Nino Williams did not play for Tang, but I still think that was a good guess prior to the hints. Desi Sills?
No, it's not Desi Sills.
Cam
not
Carter?
Cam Carter, not Tyler Perry. No one got it. I'll just cut to the chase.
No one
got it. And it was a little bit of a deeper cut. Not DeJuan Gordon. It is
Dejuan Gordon.
It is Tyke Green was my selection for today.
You said it would be hard. Tyke Green. I was just
he had those big broad shoulders.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
built
did.
kind of like a middle linebacker. I always enjoyed watching him tear it up.
Terrible defender. He wasn't
super athlete though.
You know, he was.
You just didn't play a ton.
I like the Mark Smith pull there, although Mark Smith did not play. He didn't.
Mark Smith.
He didn't play for. I don't think he played for Drum Tang. I get my years mixed up sometimes. No, he was Weber. He was the shortest player to ever lead the Big 12 in rebounds.
No one named any of my three that I was thinking. I was gonna go Bebe Igiola because I was a big Bebe guy when he was in town, and then the last one was Dorian Finister. Big Dorian guy.
One of the Louisianimals.
Yes.
By the way, Baby Igiola, nobody knew this until senior day. He was a dad.
He's married with multiple children.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we wrap up the show, hey, if you submitted a guess, you are in the running for the tickets. We'll now do the random drawing. We have software that'll do that for us. If we text you, please text us back so we can give you the information on how to pick up the tickets. Meanwhile, do you have a question, or we got to wrap it up?
It was too long to fit it into the end of the show. We'll save it for when we come back from break.
All right. Well, we are off for the rest of the week. I know we have a lot of time off, but we got bowl games we got to play. And we're going to be back on Monday. Have a great New Year's and stay safe. We'll see you in Bramlage on Saturday against BYU. Power Cat Game Day, 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. For Cole, I'm Mitch. Go Cats. Happy New Year.